example, these are the symptoms of the early stage of the COVID-19. Fever with disliking being outside is this blue-gray outer layers. So what's different for the cold and flu and coronavirus is that the cold and flu usually enters an outer layer and stay here for a while, and it depends on how strong your immune system is. It may just stops here, or it may go inside. It depends on how strong you are. But for coronavirus, it pierces through and then right go into this like this green layers, and that's the characteristic of it. So if it's in this layer, outer layer, we can cause sweating to release the pathogens for like a cold and flu. But for coronavirus, we can't do that. And low-grade fever means the pathogen stuck in green layers. Why low-grade fever? So the fever is when you have a cold and you have a fever, people put like a cold towel or like ice on it to clear the heat, or give an antibacterial medicine to truly cool the body down. But usually, and then not like a acute case like a COVID-19 or other serious diseases, but when you have a cold and you have a strong fever, it's because you're healthy. The fever you feel when you have a cold is a sign of the war that's happening between the cold virus and your antipathogenic healing mechanism. When there's a war between them, you feel it. You feel the sluggishness and you feel the aches all over the place and you feel fever. The fever is happening because your interior layer from the digestion, from your good eating habit, assuming you eat good, it produces this antipathogenic qi, and then they send this antipathogenic qi that they produce from the good digestion to the exterior layers. So this is a soldier. So interior layers produce soldiers from what you eat, and then an amount of the exercise, and amount of the sleep, and amount of the stress, and all things considered, put into the whatever alchemy happening, and then this interior layers makes this soldiers, this antipathogenic soldiers. So this soldier is sent to the outer layers to fight off the pathogens if it's usual cold and flu. But low-grade fever means there's not enough soldiers. When there's tons of soldiers in your body fighting off against the pathogens, you have a fever. There's a war happening everywhere. But low-grade fever means there's not much wars happening. So that means your soldier is not fighting well, because there's not enough soldiers. So that's this weakness. This is the weakness. So when you have a coronavirus may make your interior very weak because it lowers the immune system, or you may already have this weak digestion because most of the North American have a weak digestions. It's rare that the people who come see me have a good digestions. So the soldiers' number are low, very scant. So there's a low-grade fever. That means low-grade fever means the pathogen is in this half interior, weak interior, and then like weak exterior, half and half. This green layers. Dry cough, dry throat is also a green stage. Extremely fatigue is this interior is weak. Fatigue is always interior, it's weak. Chest oppression is here, middle layer. Severe obstruction at the stomach causing indigestions because you have your digestion's weak. So this is a weakness of the here. Nausea is same here. Loose stool and large tongue. So when this is the weakness weakness in the stomach is in Western medicine way, you can think of the not enough gastric juice. There's not enough digestive enzyme or gastric fluid to digest food efficiently. So what's happening is because there's not enough juice, literally not enough juice, so it's not moist enough. The yin and yang balance of here is so off. Yin is so lower, yin is substances that nourish your body, but at this point your nourishment is so low, you have a weakness here. What happens is when the yin is down, yang goes up. This is a rule of yin and yang. When yin goes down, yang goes up. This yang that went up due to the insufficiency of the juice is a dry heat. That's why you have a dry cough, dry throat, dry eyes, dry brains, probably like a fatigued brain. Dryness, dry cough. Dry cough is a signature of coronavirus. Often it's not a wet cough. If it's wet cough, because the person have a lot of dampness here from the pre-existing dampness. But usually it's a dry cough, I heard. Severe obstruction at the stomach causing indigestion. Nausea, loose stool. Loose stool is again here, about here. So that loose stool means that this exit out of the pathogen from the interior layer is disturbed. Large tongue and thick white or greasy tongue coating. Tongue body and tongue coating always tells you what's happening in the stomach. So these are about the interior issues. So this is why coronavirus is tricky. What needs to happen is you need to first bring this back, because without this, there's no anti-pathogenic soldier is given. So your what makes your immune system is your gut system. So you need to first treat this digestive issues. And then from this, certain herbs will make a bridge between this interior and then these outer layers to harmonize these layers. In Chinese terminology, this is the wei qi, this is the yin qi, and then certain herbs like gui qi or other herbs, and then some acupoints actually also harmonize yin and wei, interior and exterior. That's why Chinese medicine is working, because we work with a system. These systems applies anything that's under the physics. Anything actually. Today I heard on Facebook that if you have a sinus congestion or loss of taste or a hearing, it may be a sign of the COVID-19. And it is because, if that's the case, it is because lost taste and then lost sudden deafness is probably sinus congestion. So sinus congestion is a damp. It's a yin pathogen, right? It's a mucus. It's a damp pathogens, yin pathogen. So this damp pathogens is created in the weak digestion, and then that's moved up to this damp, and the phlegm moved up to the head and stay there. And this person probably already had a pre-existing dampness and then phlegm. So it was easy. It totally makes sense that why it happens. It can happen with common cold. It can happen with other things. How would I know if I have a lot of damp retention in the digestive system? I see, is it bloating, distended? When you press into it, do you dislike it, or do you feel nauseous from the pressing it? Do you have an acid reflux after eating? Do you have low thirst? Like you're not thirsty? What else is a sign? Anxiety could be a sign. If you have anxiety often, it can be symptoms of from the symptoms of the excess dampness in your anxiety. Digestive system. So you can ask your acupuncturist or Chinese medicine practitioner if you have damp retention type or not.